hanging cars, rushed decisions, and the urge to stop the momentum, when broken vehicles mirror the inner vehicles of purpose. The dream? I am in a multi-bay garage that's half abandoned, half still in use. It feels like it's somewhere near my grandparents' old home in Gardner, Massachusetts. I've stepped away from working with my wife, in the dream, on something we're doing together. The two of us seem to be here for about a week, taking care of family affairs after my grandparents' passing. We have multiple cars, most of them broken, inherited, or long overdue for repairs. One car hangs from the ceiling, a car that could have been perfect for us, but something's wrong with it. A mechanic looked at it long ago and diagnosed the issue, but we never got the work done. Other vehicles sit around the garage. A little pickup truck with problems of its own. Another small car that almost works, but not quite. And a few others, each one flawed in a different way. I walk through the bays, passing workers who operate their own business there. I almost don't want them to see me. Something in me is reluctant to get pulled into their world, their pace, their lifestyle, their tasks. I wonder whether I should even spend time trying to fix these cars. Since I only have a week here, and my real task is helping my wife with family matters, still, we urgently need a car. A worker tells me that my wife stopped by earlier, almost as if she or I used to work in this garage long ago. Then I see her talking with a mechanic we trust. They've clearly already begun discussing the situation, already forming a plan. The mechanic's tone is decisive. Let's get started. And my wife is on the phone with the newspaper open, looking up cars and beginning to call about potential purchases. I feel the momentum building fast, almost too fast. So I jump in blurting, hold on. I have information you need to know." But my interruption frustrates them. The momentum is already rolling, and when I continue insisting, the frustration escalates. In a burst of emotion, I yell, "Jesus Christ, slow the fuck down!" The mechanic and my wife almost align against me in their irritation. Desperately, I try to explain that the hanging car was already diagnosed and that I want to show the paperwork to get a proper estimate on fixing it. It feels insane to buy a new car when we already have several imperfect but repairable ones. The emotional core hits. We have resources, cars that could be restored. But everyone is rushing toward a quick purchase, a fast solution, a familiar matrix of debt and obligation. The moment I say the expletive, the dream snaps and I wake abruptly, like a circuit blowing. Raise the vibration interpretation? This dream is a high-frequency metaphor for sovereignty, pacing, fear-driven decision-making, and the reclamation of personal authority. The vehicles symbolize internal vehicles, capacities, callings, skills and pathways that may be neglected or under-repaired but still viable. For one, the garage as a symbol nexus of identity. A half-abandoned, half-functional space reflects a transitional inner landscape. The dreamer stands between the past, grandparents' legacy, old versions of self, and emerging possibilities. The environment is full of tools, potential, and neglected resources. Number 2, the hanging car as dormant power. This is the dream's central symbol, a once promising vehicle, elevated but unusable. It carries diagnosis but lacks follow-through. It represents a powerful part of the dreamer's calling or creativity that was assessed, understood, but never fully acted on. 3, the workers and the fear of being absorbed. Avoiding the workers signals resistance to being pulled into old systems, labor patterns, or identity roles. It reflects the tension between external expectations and inner sovereignty. 4, the wife and mechanic as forces of momentum. Their rapid action symbolizes cultural programming. Fix it fast. Buy new. Don't pause. Don't evaluate resources you already have. This momentum often arises from fear. Fear of inconvenience. Fear of uncertainty. Fear of not having enough time. In spiritual terms, this is the lower vibration of urgency overriding clarity. 5, the outburst as a vibrational rupture. The expletive marks a moment when the dreamer's inner truth, his need for spaciousness, evaluation, and sovereignty, collides with externally conditioned momentum. The dream ending abruptly reflects the energetic volatility of that clash. 6. Vehicles as metaphors for personal pathways. Each broken car is a part of the dreamer's life. Creative projects, entrepreneurial aspirations, spiritual callings that requires attention rather than replacement. Fixing these vehicles symbolizes choosing alignment over obligation. DJ Dreamy Spin? I wondered if my surge of anger is what ended the dream. It felt like the energy spiked too suddenly and woke me. What stood out emotionally was the frustration of watching people rush toward a decision because of conditioning, productivity, fear, groupthink, the matrix of urgency. In real life at the Pearl, I sometimes feel like I'm in a similar season, a temporary window to work on my projects, my dreams, my entrepreneurial vision. The broken cars represent the different creative vehicles I could repair and use. The rushing momentum represents the matrix of obligation that wants to impose new payments, new debts, new commitments, new jobs. Waking up outside the dream, I realized how much this ties into sovereignty. If we believe we have no options, we are pushed into buying something new. If we pause, breathe, assess, and repair what we already have, we may regain freedom. Raising the vibration here is about choosing sovereignty over fear, intention over momentum, creativity over conditioning. Questions to raise your vibration. What broken vehicles in your life, dreams, skills, resources, are actually repairable and waiting for your attention rather than replacement? Where is external momentum pulling you into decisions that don't align with your sovereignty? And what would it look like to pause, reassess, and reclaim your direction?